Hey beans, head scratches. So we're all used to like constant negativity from the news, and positive news is kind of hard to come by, especially when it's like in regard to like the furry community. But not long ago, one of my furry friends sent me this article. It's called "Why Are People Always Pointing the Finger at Furries?" by The Guardian, and it's surprisingly accurate and positive about the furry community as a whole. And this isn't normally the kind of content I do, but I just wanted to, one, show off this new hoodie I got literally 5 minutes before like I did this recording, and two, I wanted to shine a light on something that is generally quite positive while I work on another video. But before we start, last time I asked you guys what was your Fursona name and why, and here are some of the answers you guys gave me. This time around, I want to ask you guys, why did you choose your Fursona species? As always, answers down below and some of them might be popped on the next video. Anyway, back to the article. So, right off the bat, can I just appreciate the fact that this article about the furry community was written by Nikki Wolf. Like, this is absolutely perfect. And Nikki, if you ever fancy, you know, joining the furry community and you need a hand making a Fursona, hey, just give me a shout. We can help you join the Wolf Army. I feel like that's like the worst offer anybody's ever given anyway. I'm not a salesman. So in this article, Nikki talks about visiting MFF last year, which straight away, good on them for throwing themselves into like the deep end of furry conventions. Heck, I'm like 3 years into the furry community and I still feel like I need to build up a little bit of confidence to go to MFF. The article starts with saying, the first thing that hits you when you press through the revolving doors is the wall of sound, a cacophony of laughter and karaoke, pumping bass and gleeful shouting voices. And one, thank you so much for bringing cacophony back in my life, because damn right I'm going to use it in every sentence I can. And two, this is absolutely what my experience was like when I went to Nordic FuzzCon. Like honestly, from like the moment you hit the lobbies, you definitely get like a big waft of like furry energy from like the sound alone. Everyone's like goofing around and just kinda letting loose, which is really fun. Speaking of wafts, the second is the odour. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, coffee, alcohol, baby powder and deodorant. But the other senses fade out when your eyes start to process what they're seeing. And then goes on to say that some sights of like furries, you'd normally have to lick an Amazonian frog to see. Their words, not mine. Frogs of the furry community, please don't go after me for that stereotype. Although I actually didn't really notice the smell all that much. Good lord. Am I the problem? I actually quite like the fact that Nikki was able to look past some of the FurCon's negative aspects, like the smell, to see what exactly the furry community is about. Because it's all about like allowing you to be yourself, express yourself in a way that you probably couldn't have done without your characters. And I think it's great the fact that we don't really have like hindered rules like it's set in someone else's world. You have unlimited power. So a lot of this article is generally about like the furry community, like the history, the art, the fursuits, etc. As well as talking about wolf superiority and popularity. We all know that we're superior. One thing I really love about this article was that it brought up an issue that's not really talked much about in mainstream media. For example, in 2014 there was a chemical attack at MFF, and during that time there's like a news channel anchor woman that was laughing when breaking the news.
Furry convention in Illinois after what's being called an intentional lake of chlorine
What's
gas.
a furry convention?
Did I get that wrong?
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Sent the hotel guests along with convention attendees into the cold night, many still dressed in their furry costumes.
We just told Mika what the convention was about. She's...
Heck, recently I remember seeing a video on Twitter where someone was wearing their fursuit head at like it was like a concert or something, and they got punched, and people were making PETA comments and really weren't taking it seriously. So honestly, seeing this article talk about this kind of thing is actually pretty reassuring that people outside the furry community also see that this is just ridiculous. And it's one of the reasons why I really wanted to make this video. Because I know it's sometimes hard to see, but people in general are starting to understand that being a furry is just like a goofy time. For some it's like artistic creation, for others it's escapism, and that it's normally just pretty harmless. I think it's actually only a really small vocal edgelord community online who actually truly hate furries for being furries. And I think this article kind of goes to show that it isn't furries against the normies, it's not furries against anybody who isn't a furry or whatever, or anybody who didn't understand furries. It's mainly just us being us. This is not a war. Don't let anti-furries nothing get in the way of your something. Another thing I really liked about this article, I promise you I'll stop saying that phrase soon. But the article spoke about the general opinion that furries are this kind of like weird sex cult thing. And surprisingly, Nikki mentions about how, yeah, there is a big aspect of furries that are pretty openly sexual. But they also mention the fact that sexuality isn't actually at the core of the furry community. And in general, it's actually not that important. And again, I absolutely love this because it's true. I've said this in previous videos, but over 10% of furries are asexual. I personally am demisexual, and I know several asexual furries in my group of friends. But an interview with a furry with Nikki says, are we more or less sexual than any other group? I don't believe so. And this is something that I really wanted to talk about in a different video, but majority of furries are between ages 18 and 30. You know what else is generally between these ages? Pokemon fans. I mean adult sexuality. But can anybody truly tell me that a group of like general 20 to 30 year olds who go to like the nightclubs at the weekend and go to the bars and play sports and I don't know what general people do, please tell me. But can anybody tell me that this group of individuals aren't as interested in the old floss and sauce than like furries are? But anyway, last thing I wanted to mention in this article is that Nikki mentions that there are infinite ways to be a furry. And genuinely, that's a message I've always wanted to push on this channel. So it's kind of stuck out to me. They say the lifestyle, the kink, the art, the cosplay, the conventions, the community, it's all optional and people pick and choose which parts are meaningful to them. And yes, absolutely, there is no one way to be a furry. And I won't go into too much detail because boy have I done that in a ton of videos already. But always remember that you get to be who you want to be. This is your life and your journey, and you can express yourselves in any way you want to. Whether it's in the furry community, outside the furry community, nothing to do with the furry community, anything you want. And as long as like you're not doing anything illegal and what you're doing isn't hurting anybody, including yourself, absolutely do it. Do what makes you happy. But that's what I wanted to talk about today with this article. I just thought it was really nice seeing a mainstream article not make fun of furries, and I really wanted to share with you guys. I also wanted to say to you guys that I know I'm late in announcing this, but the votes have been in, and the charity we are going to be donating to at the end of our 3-month celebration will be National Autistic Society. And like I said before, between now and the end of October, all memberships and super chat donations will be going towards this charity. Thank you all the members who have already donated, it really means a lot to me. But yep, that's the end of the video guys. Just a little quick one for you today while I'm working on something that's a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. But I really hope you enjoy that when it comes out. I hope it comes out soon. And if you remember anything from this video, remember that you matter yesterday, you matter today, and you matter tomorrow, and I love every single one of you. Mwah.